Strike Katsina, 2 dead, multiple injured. National grid partially restored after 7th collapse in 2024. PDP governors mediate, parties urged to maintain status quo. Away from Nigeria, United Nations warns of looming humanitarian disaster in Lebanon as Israel-Hezbollah war escalates. Good evening and welcome to the news update on Trust TV at this hour. I am Aisha Salihu. We begin with matters of security in the northwest region of the country. A fresh bandits attack on Monday morning threw residents of Tashar Kadanya community under Dan Ali ward of Dan Musa local government area of Katsina State into grief. This followed the invasion of the village, leading to the killing of 2 people by gunmen suspected to be bandits. The suspected bandits, riding on motorcycles and carrying weapons, including AK-47 rifles, attacked the village, shooting sporadically, inflicted serious gunshot injuries on 2 other residents. In the same vein, the hoodlums also abducted several other residents after forcefully burgling grain stores and shops and carting away grains and valuables worth millions of naira. They also rustled animals in the process. Eyewitnesses from the neighboring communities say hundreds of people, mostly women and children, have fled Tashar Kadanya village to either Yantumaki in Dan Musa or Kankara town in Kankara local government area. Meanwhile, security agencies in Katsina State are yet to comment on the attacks as at the time of filing this report. And now to give us an update on this incident, we have Trust TV's Abdullahi Yamadi. Thank you so much for joining us on the news update, Yamadi.
Thank you, Aisha Salim.
So what other new information have we learned regarding this particular security incident?
Well, this evening I spoke with the chairman of Damusa Local Council, Alaji Sanusi Dengi Abbas, who confirmed to me that the accident has occurred. The attack was, the community was attacked, sorry. And of course, according to him, 1 person was killed, while 3 others were abducted in the process. And he also said that at the moment they have deployed the rather a combined team of police, community security which is this state security outfit, and of course vigilante, who are keeping vigil and assisting the residents to ensure the security of lives and property in the community. While the residents of Tashar Kadanya are mourning the death of the killing of their loved ones, they are also concerned about the plight of their loved ones who fled the community last night. Most of them are said to have fled to Kankara town, the headquarters of Kankara local government, and the nearby Entumaki village, or rather Entumaki town in Damusa local government. So some of the residents who spoke to Trust TV appeals to the state government to deploy more security operatives to continue to ensure the security of lives and property in the village.
Abdullah Yamadi, you have given us a sense of what the residents of the community, how they are feeling in this moment of grief. I'd like to hear from you. Would you say this is the first time, or there has been a pattern, a repetition of this particular security challenge in that area? And also, what has the police been doing, and how can you merge what they have done and what they intend to do moving forward just to prevent a reoccurrence of this particular incident?
I think this is the second time in 6 months that this community is being attacked. And the recent one, at least about 100 to 200 people were displaced, and over 12 people were abducted. So many shops were boggled, and properties worth millions of naira were taken from the community. And at the moment, what they are all saying is, despite the fact that they cannot access their farms, they have a belief that the local council has been organizing police, vigilante groups, and the local community security watch corps to be escorting farmers to harvest and evacuate their farm produce, like what happened at Dang Ali and environs. Dang Ali is and these Tashar Kadanya communities are just about 6 kilometers away from each other. So the local council is assisting the farmers or the residents.
Abdullahi Yamadi. There we had Abdullahi Yamadi, a Trust TV's reporter who joined us from Katsina State to give us an update on the recent attack in Katsina State. Moving on to more security stories. 3 kidnappers have been neutralized by the police attacked to the Mokwa division in the process of rescuing an abducted victim. The kidnappers abducted the victim at Takuma village in Mokwa local government area. Upon receiving the information about the abduction, the joint security team, which comprised the police and vigilantes, mobilized and trailed the suspected kidnappers to Kwakiko forest. The kidnappers engaged the police team in a gandio, which resulted in the death of the kidnappers, while 1 AK-47 rifle with 3 live ammunition was recovered. In a related development, the crack squad team of the State Police Command has apprehended a 22-year-old man, Samaila Saidu, on information about his attachment to a group of terrorists. During interrogation, the suspect narrated that he had worked with the Kachala group of terrorists for over 2 years, adding that he had participated in a series of robberies, cattle rustling, and kidnapping in Mangoro, Sarkin, Pawa area, Garungabas, Benakotonkoro area, and the attack of Kagara town. The Niger State Police Public Relations Officer, SP Wasiu Abiodun, said investigation into the kidnapping incident is in progress as efforts is on top gear to arrest the fleeing members of the gang. Away from security matters, the Food and Agriculture Organization has distributed essential relief materials to flood victims and survivors in Jere local government area of Borno State. The palliatives handed over to the Borno Flood Relief Committee is to support vulnerable households affected by the flood and also enhance food security. The flood victims were supported with nutritional food supplements for 1,000 children, briquettes and fuel-efficient stoves to reduce environmental degradation. It also plans to vaccinate over 40,000 livestock belonging to 3,000 flood-affected families. The FAO officer in charge of Northeast Sub-Region, Dauda Dombia, said the intervention targets 1,000 children with the purpose of keeping them from being vulnerable to diseases and malnutrition.
Days, I would say weeks, we are in the process also to be able to assist remaining communities and remaining households with also the Tambron, which will be 1,600 households targeted, and also for the livestock vaccination. We are in the process also to get the vaccine and to be working with the relevant services from the government side.
The flood, you can see there is already an outbreak of cholera right now. So there are some animal diseases that can spread across also. So as we are taking care of humans, the same way we are taking care of animals also. So we have a plan of vaccinating about 4,000 animals within Jere LGA alone. And then also we have a plan for the macro gardening support.
It is very much timely and is prompt response to the people of the area. And we also have fuel efficient stock alongside the charcoal that will be helped in using or utilizing to cook whatever that has been intervened by the Food and Agricultural Organization. So on behalf of Borno State government and the people of Jere local government, particularly for Shokari Ward, we are very grateful and we do appreciate and acknowledge the intervention of Food and Agricultural Organization.
The flood affected our house and it took everything, no food. But today, I really appreciate them for giving us food supplements, stove and charcoal too. May Allah bless them.
The Transmission Company of Nigeria has partially restored the national grid following a system disturbance. A check on TCN's Energy Monitor website showed that the total power generation has increased to 410.00 megawatt after being down to 0.00 megawatt. It is also confirmed that electricity has been restored in some places in Ibadan as of the time of filing this report. Earlier, the electricity distribution companies announced the shutdown in separate statements on Tuesday. The development comes within 24 hours after the grid collapsed on October 14. Ikeja Electric said the national grid collapsed at about 9:17 a.m., affecting power supply within its franchise. The national electricity grid has collapsed about 7 times in 2024. The first time was on February 4. The grid experienced another shutdown on March 28, April 15, July 6, and August 5. Inequality has become a critical challenge in Nigeria, with the wealth gap widening at an alarming rate of over 40% of the population living below the international poverty line, surviving on less than 2,000 naira per day. As the disparity grows, civil society groups are sounding the alarm, urging swift action to tackle the root causes of inequality and uplift millions from poverty. Dr. Yakubu tells us more.
Inequality spans across every aspect of society, from gender and education to politics and more, driven by social, political, and economic factors. The concentration of wealth at the top leaves much of the population behind, fueling unfair resource distribution that threatens social stability and economic progress. Reports show that 4 in 10 Nigerians live in poverty, and with a rapidly growing population, civil society groups are calling for urgent action to address this deepening crisis.
Today, we have less than 2% of people who controls Nigeria's wealth, and you have over 90% who are not enjoying the natural resources or even the dividends of democracy that we've all embraced. Today, families cannot even afford 3 square meals. Children are being dropped out of school because of 3,000 naira. And yet you hear government say education is free.
It's not healthy for a society, for a segment of the society to live in extreme affluence while others live in extreme poverty. It's not good for the country. It's not even good for the rich and the powerful, because the more people get poorer and excluded, the more such system become dangerous, even for the people who are rich and living in affluence.
If you look at even women participation in political affairs in the country, if you look at the percentage, it's just talking about 6.5 or so of women being in the decision-making positions in the government, which is not actually the best scenario that we want to see.
When people are pushed to the extreme poverty, they might likely going to go and be doing criminality. And many criminals are recruiting people who are already disenchanted, who have no job, who have no means of livelihood, who have no means of support, who are out of school.
They called for a review of the tax system, recommending that the wealthy should face higher taxes to help address inequality.
A tax system that tax you on the basis of your income, so that the rich and powerful are taxed much more higher and the poor are protected. The resources from the rich and powerful is brought to provide services for the poorer people.
Tackling income and wealth inequality in Nigeria demands systemic reforms such as expanding access to education, healthcare, and social services, fostering inclusive economic growth, combating corruption, and strengthening governance. Dorcas Yakubu, Trust TV News, Abuja.
The Minister of Women Affairs, Uju Kennedy Ohanenye, has promised to take decisive action against a man accused of sexually abusing two sisters, aged 8 and 3. In a viral video, the minister vowed to ensure justice is served, stating that she would not tolerate such acts and would make an example of the neighbor allegedly responsible for the abuse.
Action will come. I will find them tight. It is they that will run. Not me, but it's Uju Kennedy Ohanenye. I will not fall. Imagine a small girl like this being raped by a matured man with her younger sister, 3-year-old. Where is it done? 3-year-old, and this girl 8 years plus, being raped 3 times. I will teach this man a lesson. When I finish with him, I'll bring him out to Nigeria. Nigerians will finish the remaining one. Yes. Because now Nigerians, you people are doing well. As I am now, each time I call you people, you come out. Each time something happens, you push it to me. And when I come out to fight, you join me. Even if you don't come physically, but you're using media. You're still doing me and Nigerian women and children very well. I thank you very well, Nigerians.
The People's Democratic Party Governors Forum has instructed feuding members of the party to revert to the status quo. The directive was given by the chairman of the forum, who is also Bauchi State Governor, Bala Muhammad, after a meeting of the governors which ended in the early hours of Tuesday. Muhammad said as a political party, the PDP was bound to have disputes among members, but added that those challenges can always be resolved. Muhammad said with a truce, all suspensions have been nullified. He urged the PDP National Working Committee to restore the suspended officers, while the acting national chairman should also remain. On Friday, a federal high court in Abuja barred the PDP National Executive Committee from removing Umar Damagun as the acting national chairman of the party. The court judgment came after suspension and counter-suspension crisis rocked the party, causing an uproar. To other stories and to the Green Chambers of the National Assembly, the House of Representatives has called on the Federal Ministry of Education, the Joint Admission and Matriculation Board, and the West African Examinations Council to urgently return the examination center in Lassa and establish a new center in Musa and Dille to alleviate the challenges faced by students in those communities of Askira Uba local government area of Borno State. It also urged the Federal Ministry of Education to collaborate with security agencies to ensure the safety and security of students, teachers, and examination materials in the newly restored examination centers. This followed the adoption of a motion moved by Representative Midala Usman Balami at the plenary on Tuesday. Presenting the motion, he said the current security situation in Musa, Dille, Mutlafu and Lassa wards of Askira Uba local government area of Borno State has impacted negatively on students writing JAMB, WAEC, on SSE examinations in the communities. According to the lawmaker, students from Musa, Dille and Lassa are forced to travel long distances to Maiduguri and Uba town with high cost of transportation, which most parents cannot afford, thereby denying students the right to education, while those who manage to afford the fares in most cases arrive at the examination venue late. The House adopted the motion and mandated the Committee on Universal Basic Education and Services as well as the Committee on Examination Bodies to ensure compliance. OFO an insignia for justice, peace, and unity, is respected and revered in Igbo land, by extension in Ikwere ethnic group. Though the advent of Christianity has slightly diluted the efficacy of the Ofo, the insignia is still highly revered in Ikwere, Rivers State. In this special report, our correspondent, Friday Mobowe Peter, who visited Obela community in Rivers State, where Ofo holders gathered to strengthen the practice, reports that people there describe it as a symbol of unity, justice, truth, and peace. Take a look.
Barefooted old men, some above 100 years, marched through Obela community amid significant silence, suggesting respect for the highest decision-making body in the land, each bearing a stick of about 4 feet long, horn from buffalo or antelope. Their traditional wares were laced with red traditional caps, suited for the cultural practice. These old men are believed to be blameless. Once one is taken into the Ofo, fold his tops, wearing shoes, arbor slides, and always stand for what is right. They have special seats, a locally made 3-leg chair. These men don't drink in same cup with anyone, hence the buffalo horn serves the purpose. It is also used for prayers and libations. Head of the Ofo holder in Obela community, Uchendu Egionu, who represented his very old father, Dominic Egionu, speaks more on the import of the stick, horn, and the red cap.
Ofo holder is something that involves, in a Christian, we call it somebody who is a Christian or a holy. Ofo holder, whomever the gods is called to handle this throne, is called by the gods of the land. So in Christendom, I will transfer it as a holy person, as a person who is chosen by the communities, by the gods of the community. And at the same fact, he is somebody who has been chosen to make peace, to restore unities, and does not have enemy, to maintain and to progress of the community.
Amongst the Ofo holder is a professional sojourn, Pa Ikechi Woke. He became an Ofo holder after being chosen by the gods. He gave the botanical name of the Ofo as Deuterium senegalens. According to Woke, the Ofo is the highest decision-making body in Ekwere and Igbo land, as whoever holds the title is endowed with powers from the god.
The grown age, you can hold it. And you are the oldest person within the village. But it's, you don't talk how you just as you like, because you have reached the age of reasoning.
The reason why Onha don't wear shoe, it means they are in gods, they will speak with the gods. And the ghost does not lie. Any ghost that lies is a dead ghost.
One major significance of the gathering of this octogenarian and septuagenarian was that it brings together thousands of sons and daughters of the area as a unifying force. From Obela community, Friday Mobowe Peter, Trust TV News.
In business, Nigeria's headline inflation has increased to 32.70% in September. The figure is a marginal increase of 0.55% from the 32.15% recorded in August. According to the National Bureau of Statistics, the headline inflation rate was 5.98% points higher compared to the 26.72% recorded in September 2023. Furthermore, on a month-on-month basis, the headline inflation rate in September 2024 was 2.52%, which was 0.30% higher than the rate recorded in August 2024. This means that in September 2024, the rate of increase in the average price level is higher than the rate of increase in the average price level in August 2024. NBS noted that the rise in food inflation was caused by increases in guinea corn, rice, maize, beans, among others. And to developments away from Nigeria, United Nations agencies have called for an urgent increase in funding to deal with the unfolding humanitarian crisis in Lebanon as the Israeli military continues its offensive against Hezbollah. UNICEF and the World Food Programme warned in a joint statement on Tuesday that the fighting, which has displaced hundreds of thousands in Lebanon, has triggered a catastrophe. Lebanese officials have said 1.2 million people have been affected by the conflict, in which Israel has conducted air attacks on Beirut and many other parts of Lebanon, as well as sending ground troops into the south. And that concludes the news update on Trust TV at this hour. Remember, you can always follow us across all of our social media platforms and also join our YouTube live stream for more news, programs and documentary. I am Aisha Salihu. Thank you so much for watching. Join us again.